One of my strongest beliefs were just now broken. I found out that I was completely wrong, and it's this. I believe that you can control your emotions, that emotional control was possible. I come to realize that it's simply not. Once you understand what emotions are, you learn that you can't control your emotions per se, but there is something called emotional intelligence, and that basically means it's the ability to be aware of the emotions that you feel and your behavior towards them. Anyways, I don't want to get into this because I might make a separate video on emotional intelligence. I really just want to talk about something that the whole thing taught me, and it was everything you believe, every opinion you hold, every thought you have, everything that you believe is an opinion. In other words, and I like this quote from Mike Menser. He says, "Everybody is wrong, but when you get corrected, you're slightly less wrong." In other words, everything that you know, there's a possibility that new information will come out. There's a possibility that you have misunderstood what somebody has said. There's a possibility where you have made sense of something that doesn't make sense. And I'll try to break all of those down. Now, first off, I want to talk about ego because ego is a big part of your opinions or your beliefs. Ego does not mean, and everybody makes this up, even I use ego in this context of pride and of overconfidence, but it doesn't mean that. It means your identity. It means who you are. Everything from your thoughts about yourself to what others have told you about you, to your hobbies, your skills, your beliefs, your ideologies. That is your ego. It's you. It's what makes you who you are. And one of the responsibilities for your ego is to protect your beliefs at all cost. Now, I'll use insecurities to show how your ego can actually work against you. If you believe yourself to say, let's say you believe yourself to be ugly. Anytime that somebody gives you a weird look, or somebody talks down to you, or you get rejected, your ego is responsible to keep that belief, to keep reinforcing that belief that you're ugly. So when you get rejected, when you get looked at funny, when you, I forget what else I said, your ego will reinforce that statement that you're ugly. It will connect it to you being ugly rather than look at the environment you're in and what you have said and it will correlate it with that strong belief. And that's where opinions come in. That's why we take things so personally, is because we hold beliefs. This happens with political disagreements. This happens with religious disagreements and stupid arguments with your friends. You hold a belief, and when somebody challenges you on that belief, you sometimes take it personally. I sometimes take it personally, especially when it comes to philosophy and politics. I generally I'm very in tune with all of that, and I wish I wasn't, because now I kind of understand the importance of both political spectrums. So they had a big part of my life where it was hard for me to ever talk to someone about politics that was on the opposite side of me, the opposite spectrum of me. If I talked to someone who was on that one side, I just really was filled with annoyance and hatred. And this is because I held strong beliefs rather than hold the belief that it was just an opinion. So when somebody takes something personally, it's because they value that opinion. They value that opinion so much that it becomes a belief of theirs. And that's why you get into arguments. That's why people yell at you for saying something that they disagree with. Moving on with that, we have to understand that we are only humans. We have the possibility to misunderstand or misremember certain concepts. And the thing about your brain is it really works in strange ways. If you make sense of something, if you tell yourself something makes sense, and then the proof that's provided doesn't make sense, your brain will make that proof make sense. And it's hard to catch yourself doing this. And that's why it's kind of important to talk to people about your thoughts, your opinions. Because having a second person look at what you believe and what you have taken into, you get a second view. And you can kind of understand, oh wait, yeah, I was dumb. Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I like, I don't know, if, let's say for some reason you believe the earth is flat. Once you get a few photos of the earth being round, then you might be like, oh wow, why didn't I see that? Why I was stupid. But you have all these evidence stating otherwise, and it makes sense to your brain at this moment. That's why I say that nobody's inherently dumb. Everybody is just unaware of the things they don't know. And that's why I say, like, everybody's intelligent in their own way. Because there's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. So there's things that you know, and there's things that you don't know, and then there's things that you know, and then there's things that you know you don't know. I'm pretty sure I already said that. Anyways, it's not really important to know all the variables in the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's only important to know this. Arrogance lies in the things you know, and then the things you don't know. And this happens to all of us. When we were learning math, for example, the first time we were ever learning math, we only knew the basics. Multiplications, divisions, additions, subtractions, and then eventually they started adding in new things, and then we felt even dumber when it came to math. We felt like we didn't know anything about math again. And this happens to all of us with all kinds of subjects. And this is simply due to us not knowing what we don't know. And this is why I state that no matter where you are in life, you should always accept the fact that there's a chance of you being wrong about something. There's a chance of you generally just misunderstanding something. Whatever opinions you believe, I would suggest you question them all the time. Question everything you believe. And the reason why you want to question everything you believe is because sometimes where you get your information from is from the wrong source, or it's from a misinformed source. So, like, for example, a lot of what I know now comes from books and videos and my own research. And I had to learn the hard way that I need to keep questioning where I'm getting my information from, especially online. Like, we live YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and TikTok and shit has made short-term videos so popular. And like I said, when our minds connect something, when our minds tell us this makes sense, whatever information is provided afterwards, even if it's not logical per se, we will make it seem like it's actually logical, like it actually makes sense to us. And then we'll be like, yeah, absolutely. And this is why, like, you have to question everything you know. Not in a way where it's gonna, like, affect your confidence per se, but in a way where you're constantly trying to adapt to learn something, or to constantly try to adapt to the truth. Because, like, I'll give you an example, and I forget the actual quote, and I don't even know who said it, but somebody was talking about poison, I think it was iodine and sugar. So it says that if an enemy puts sugar in your drink, you'll be fine, right? But if a family member or a friend accidentally puts iodine in your drink, you'll be dead. And this quote, what I'm trying to say, and again, I butchered that quote. I completely butchered that quote. But what it meant was that no matter where you're getting your information from, whether it's from someone who hates you or someone who has your best interest at heart, they can be wrong. They can be giving you the wrong information. And that's why it's so important to always question your strong beliefs, because you might be getting them from your parents, and as much as your parents have your best interest at heart, they're humans just like us, and they have the possibility of being misinformed, or have the possibility that they don't understand everything. And another thing, I have the tendency to take what people say literally. Now, I'm not saying, like, okay, yes, I do have problems with, like, sarcasm and jokes and stuff like that, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when I have high respect for people, and it doesn't take much for me to respect someone, the only thing you need for me to respect you is to not be a dick. That's all it really takes for me to have respect for you, to show my respect towards you. Is to not be a dick and to not be a dumbass. Alright, those are the two categories it takes for me to be like, yeah, I like you. With that said, I have an issue where if I respect someone, I kind of respect what they have to say, and sometimes even if they don't make sense, I'm kind of blinded by my respect. by the respect I have for that person. So I kind of just agree with them, not in like a passive way where I'm just like, yeah, absolutely. But again, when something makes sense, and this is how your mind works, when something makes sense, it will take whatever evidence is given to you and it will make it make sense, even if it's not logical. So the point of this video was, one, to understand that everything that you hold, everything that you know, all your knowledge is just an opinion, and that you should allow yourself to listen to others and adapt everything that you know to something new. Because you're going to be constantly learning. You're going to be constantly changing your values, your opinions. You're going to constantly be learning about whatever career you're going into, for example. You're going to be constantly learning something new. And you're constantly going to be evolving with the times. And that's why it's so important to realize that everything you have right now, everything that you know right now is just an opinion. Think about it as an opinion. It's not necessarily an opinion. There's facts. There's truth to everything. But thinking as everything as an opinion allows for you to not take things so personally, especially when somebody's challenging something that you strongly believe, right? If you believe whatever you believe in as an opinion, as something that can change, then it allows you to listen to the person, and you become more intelligent that way. Well, intelligence is your ability to apply knowledge. I wouldn't say intelligence. I would say you become more knowledgeable that way, because one, you stop being able to critically think, right? You're able to just tell yourself, that doesn't make sense, therefore why would I believe it? Or if it doesn't make sense but it does make sense, like, right, the general idea makes sense but the proof doesn't make sense, now you can tell yourself, okay, well, I gotta look it up for myself, I gotta do my own research and actually learn if this actually makes sense. Two, be aware that your ego is responsible to protect your beliefs and your values. So if you value something highly, like, everybody has value, and again, going back to probably one of my favorite YouTubers at this moment and book writers at the moment, Mike Manson, he talks about a value hierarchy. So we all have values, and the more that we reach the top, the more we take things personally when somebody tries to challenge those values, right? Like last year for me, I was all about the gym. I would put everything, I would put the gym before everything. Now I'm kind of valuing reading more and meditating more. I value peace more than anything else. With that said, the third and last thing is, your mind is fucked. Your brain works in mysterious ways, and if something makes sense to you, if the surface idea makes sense to you, then even if the evidence doesn't make sense, you'll make it make sense for you. And this is why it's so important for you to question everything you know. With that said, I hope this helps. I didn't write a script for this video, so I'm trying something new. I'm trying to just talk with everything I know in my head without writing an entire script, because I find that the scripts I write, they're cheesy. I write them like I would write in my journal, or like I would write my ideas down, and then there's no inherent personality for that. So I'm trying not to use a script, but as you can tell, I stutter a lot. I try to think a lot, and it's not as smooth as when I make a video. But I also get my point across, and I get way more information in when I'm just talking about it. So with that said, hopefully this video has helped. Have a nice day. Bye.